Hello learners, welcome back to the another video in this series, and this video is going to be the last or second last video in the series. So in this video, we are going to I'm going to make my network topology a bit more secure by configuring the passwords on routers. So if I go on to the router R4 and I enter the command enable, so I get straight onto the enable prompt mode. So if I want to set the password at this level, so we have to go to the global configuration mode, and then we have to enter the command enable secret and the password that we want to set. So if I go back to the exact mode, disable, and I then I enter the command enable, then it is asking me to enter the password. So the password is hello, and then I get into the enable prompt mode. So this is the way to make our router more secure. To access the router CLI, we have two ways. First one is through the console lines, and second one is through the virtual terminal lines. So to access the router on port 22 or on port 23 telnet, we use the virtual terminal lines. So we will configure the virtual terminals lines. So let's get started. So let's move on to the global configuration mode. Now we will first we will set the credentials. So the username let be admin, and the password secret be hello. Now let's move on to the lines, virtual terminal lines. They're actually 16 lines, means at a time 16 hosts can connect to the router R4. So that numbers from 0 to 15. Now login should be synchronous, and the exact timeout should be 1 minute, and we should log in through the local credentials. Now if I go on to the host in the sales department, and if I try to telnet the router R4 5.2, then I should succeed, and it is asking me the username. The username is admin and the password is hello. So now I am on the router R4. So to enter the enable prompt, the password is hello. But the thing is that the all hosts in the sales department can access the router R4. So if I go to other host in the sales department and I try to telnet the router R4, sorry, telnet 10.10.5.11, sorry, that's not the IP address, 5.2. So it is asking me the username and the password. So any host in the sales department can access the R4 router if he and she knows the password. So what we will do, that we will restrict only the admin in the sales department should be able to access the router R4. So what we will do, we will create an access list, sorry, access list. One, this time we will be using the standard ACLs, and we will permit only the admin. The IP address is 10.10.5.11. Now we will move back to the virtual terminal line, the line VTY 0 to 15, and here we will map the ACL to virtual terminal line. So the command is access class, sorry, access class 1, sorry, 1 in. So if I try to telnet the R4 other than the admin, from the host other than the admin 5.2, then I'm getting the message that the connection refused by the remote host. So but if I try to telnet from the host admin in the sales department 5.2, so I can telnet successfully. So the password is hello. To enable prompt, the password is hello. So that was the telnet. We will also configure the connection on port 22. So for that we have to first specify the domain name, domain name sorry, I am on the wrong prompt. IP domain name. You can configure any domain name, for example let's say example.com. Now we have to generate the key, so to encrypt the data. So the command is crypto key generate RSA key. So we will generating the RSA key, and the key will be of 768 bit. Now let's move back on to the virtual terminal lines 15 and transport input all. Now let SSH into the R4 with the admin conditions 10.10.5.2. Now it is asking me the password, and I enter the password, and I am on the router R4. So this is how we can access the router R4 CLI through virtual terminals lines and console lines. So we will be doing the same configuration on R1. So let's get started. Enable, we will move to the global configuration mode. Then we will set the password, enable secret, same password, let's say hello. Now we will also specify the domain name, IP domain name. We will take the same domain, example.com. Then we will generate the key for connection on the port 22. Key crypto key generate RSA 768 bit key. Okay. Now we will move on to the first we have to also configure the user the credentials, username admin, and the, let's say, password. This time let the password be same, hello. Now let's move on to the virtual terminal lines 0 to 15, and then logging synchronous, and the exact timeout should be 1 minute, and then transport input all, and we will login through the local credentials. And now let's check I am able to telnet on R1 or not. So telnet 10.10. Let's say this time the IP address is 10.10.1.1. So it is asking me the username. The username is admin, and the password is hello. Yes, I succeed. The password is hello. Yes, I can access the router R1 through the admin of the finance department. Fine. So we will also apply the ACL here. So exit and access list 1, permit the admin of the finance department. So the IP address is 10.10.1.11, and we will move back to the virtual terminal line 0 to 15, and we will map the ACL access class 1 in. So if I go to the another host in the finance department, and if I try to telnet the router R1, then I should not succeed. 1.1 1.1. Let me check what the IP address is. Okay, sorry. This host has the IP address 1.11, and this host which was the admin this time has acquired the IP address 1.12. So if I try to telnet from this host, then if I try to telnet from this host, then I should not succeed. 1.1. yes. So that's the matter of IP address. If I go on this host and switch to static, and if I go on to other admin and I configure the DHCP, then this host will get the first IP address, and this host will get the second IP address. Now the scenario has been changed. This host can only telnet into the R1. Yes. So this was all for this part of the video. Thanks for watching this video. Thank you.